All right. So I wake up, have a message from my mate Outworld Dragoon telling me that that Peacemaker is possibly delayed, along with crossplay. And then I get on X and I see this. Like I saw somebody's, I think the Thinny was replying to this. Right. Fate Unknown was, and still is, I'm assuming, still a very famous leaker of information. Right. He's been doing this for a really long time. He comes out and says, from what I am hearing, there's a very good chance Peacemaker will be delayed by a few weeks. To give the team time, the desync issue took a lot of time and resources to fix, so a delay is looking likely. There's a 0% chance Kombat Pack 1 ever gets cancelled. It's been sold already. They have to commit to it. Which is what I've been saying in terms of like the game itself. It's like they bring out a new season, but we know what's going to happen. It's the same boring grind for invasions. Like it's nothing different. Right? And then they bring out Peacemaker, a character just along with like Homelander and Omniturd, nobody asked for because they weren't ever meant to be for Mortal Kombat. They were meant to be for Injustice, right? Injustice 3. One more and last question. Few weeks delay. How much is how much? End of February. Most likely the number I've heard was 2 weeks. So that could be the end of February, beginning of. And then you've got here. Oh wait, I actually remember two more things. Does it mean crossplay is delayed? 2, is the rumor that story DLC will be sold as episodes true or nah? Yes, crossplay is coming with Peacemaker. So Peacemaker is delayed, so is crossplay. And then thanks for answering. Right. So now, in the grand scheme of things, I don't give a shit anymore because, like, you know, we know the hand that they have played. We are all seeing it for ourselves. Do not be gaslit by anyone telling you that this game is being stellar. I just checked on a whim last night before I went to bed, and MK11 had more players than MK1 on Steam. This shouldn't be happening. The next game in the series that already had a game previous, you know, that was the main focus, usually has a massive population decline because they all move to the next game, right? Because the legacy carries forward. And now, you know, NetherRealm, Ed Boon have realized that, oh, whoops. You can't tell me, right? You can't tell me that NetherRealm aren't looking at the success of Tekken and going, you know what, maybe we should have stuck to our legacy. If they had stuck to the legacy that they created up until the end of MK Trilogy, you know, with the gameplay and stuff from them, and just built on that, like every other fighting game has done since, then we would have been fine, right? The reason why these other fighting games have such long and popular and very respected histories is because they maintain the legacy, right? They expand on the story, but the story was there in the base. They expand on the gameplay, but the gameplay was there in the base, right? People that have played, I've had people comments, I've got friends that have said they haven't picked up a Tekken game since the early, like, you know, 2 or 3 ones, and they picked up 8, and they're able to do a lot of the characters' moves that they used to do in the game. Immediately. Just pow, right? And the reason for that is legacy. And Ed Boon, ever since he got full reign control with MK Deadly Alliance, we have been getting gimmick after gimmick after gimmick after gimmick after gimmick. And the only time that we didn't get a gimmick game was Mortal Kombat 9. That game felt like it was they harkened back to, less is more. They introduced the X-Ray, which I preferred over the Fatal Blow, right? 100% preferred it over the Fatal Blow, okay? We didn't have different fighting styles, weapons, that sort of thing, like they did in the 3D era. But they still hung on to the stupid, we can do combos anytime without actually having to touch the person. It's the most ridiculous mechanic ever. It's fine for the 3D games that have done it because they've done it since the beginning. But from the Mortal Kombat perspective, no. And since I was there since the beginning, it was never a thing. They changed that because Ed Boon has a hard-on for Tekken, and that's the reason why we ended up with a Tekken clone with Deadly Alliance, and the reason why Deception was a huge hit, because the backlash on Deadly Alliance was so great, even back then. Considering we don't have the sort of like the feedback and interactivity that we do now, they had to reverse course on so much and actually make Mortal Kombat again, right? But I think up until that point, and then with Armageddon, they had lost a lot of ground. They obviously eventually went bankrupt. Warner Brothers scooped them up. But they were working on MK9, and that's why MK9 feels like the last great MK game, because that was before NetherRealm actually started their own. They changed the way that the animations and the engine felt. They changed the graphics. They removed so much cool stuff that was in MK9 and previous MK games. They just forgot all about that stuff, right? Because they don't care anymore. They just don't care. So, if this is true, it's no surprise. How does a billion-dollar company with a multi-million-dollar developer struggle? Tekken 8's launch day, right? Because I was talking to this dude, wanted to have a chat, Brendan, last night. We had a big chat last night. It was great. And he was saying it was what a wonderful sort of, what was it? Some wonderful mistake or wonderful sort of, it's a wonderful bad thing to happen essentially because there was so many people trying to log in and play Tekken, like Tekken 8 on launch day, that the servers got overloaded. But they didn't fix it with some dinky patch. They fixed it on their end. And as soon as they fixed it, it was fixed within hours. And we had within the hour, like comments from Harada and the team going, hey, we're well aware. Let's figure it out. So it's amazing that your game, it's like when an MMO comes out or a new expansion, you got login queues and stuff. And, while it's frustrating because you want to play, it's also a pretty good indicator of how many people are excited and are there day one to play, right? So now they're delaying. Again, I don't give a shit about the guest characters. They're so alien. They're so alien to the game, because the entire team at NetherRealm of NetherRealm they just got TikTok, woke brain virus crap, right? They're just like, if we put these little this will get people that like Homelander series. These people come over because they like, the boys. If we do this, the people that watch Invincible come over. Tekken 8 has approximately 0 guest characters. 0. Same with Street Fighter 6, right? And Tekken 8 is absolutely annihilating the competition in all fronts. Because it's a fun game, it kept its legacy, there's so much content to do, it's just ridiculous. My previous videos talking about ghost battles essentially being endless content, right? A near infinite amount of content that you can do, of people you can fight. It's crazy. It's not even going online. So this is gonna get delayed, which, further just pushes them, like, there's nothing that they can do to come back from this. Tom Brady did a video talking about it. What did he say? I think he said it can't be saved, it might be salvageable. And that's the problem. Because the MK1 roster, I've got my thumbnail ready to go, about, like, the positives I like about MK. Because people have been asking me for ages, right? And I will do it. I might do it later. I'll see what happens. There's another video I want to do first as well. And so what happens is that, you know, you've actually got a pretty damn good roster. It's actually, to me, a better roster than MK11, right? Better roster than MK10. But despite that, it all crumbles from there, you know? And that is why Moi has been under fire by certain factions in the community, because they are terrified of what's coming. I have been seeing it for a really long time. The game is dying. The decisions that they have been making are not just with this game, but the previous games, and the absolute infection that has come from Injustice into Mortal Kombat titles, and instead of keeping both entities completely separate, so one doesn't even resemble the other in any form or fashion. All of these things add up, and it splinters the game, it splinters the gameplay, it splinters, you know, how things are sort of designed, how a story is interpreted or presented. Because they spend all this money and time and effort on these big cinematic story shit things that they do, right? And you think to yourself, well, you know what? I would have preferred half the story and give me like an extra 10 characters, right? And fix your gameplay. Along with the rest of it. They must be looking at Tekken 8 right now and just be like, how do we miss this? Like, how are we losing? They're losing MK fans. And this is just going to be something else, right? Now this, again, may not happen. Fate's usually been on the money for a really long time, right? So anyone that's been part of the leak scene knows exactly who he is. It's not fucking me, right? This dude has been doing this. This dude has been putting out leaks that I've been covering for a really long time, right? On the Mortal Kombat 1 leaks Reddit. It's a great place if you want to see leaks and everything talked about there. It's actually better than the proper Mortal Kombat Reddit, right? Great people over there. So if this comes to pass, this is kind of like the last straw. Oh, it's only delayed 2 weeks. You wait. The possibility of the shills and some of the only pros will come out, you know, and they'll be like, well, it's only 14 days. You know, it's not that bad. You know, we want to make sure that they do it right. Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, and God knows whatever else out there, had crossplay in betas. And the multi-billion-dollar company with a multi-million-dollar developer took over a month or whatever it was to fix desync issues. And then this, if this happens, right? They could come out tomorrow and say, no, it's going to be on time. It's like, great, cool. I will do another video going, yes, excellent. But I don't know. Because this is the way they are now. This is they are just fumbling the ball at every opportunity. They have lost complete touch with their fan base. They have just, you know, yep, they're off the reservation. Absolutely, 100%. Right? They have no idea what they're doing. Right? They have lost all common sense when it comes to making a Mortal Kombat game, because they leaned into the gimmicks and the things that they thought everyone only cared about, like fatalities and gore. No, nobody gives a shit about that crap, right? Because every time you play online, nobody's doing fatalities anymore. Like the same thing that happened in MK11, because they take too damn long. That's why people do brutalities, because the fatalities are shit and they take too long. You don't need to have the fatalities the way they are. Make the brutalities the fatalities, and then make a brutality singular, like what they did in MK Trilogy. This massive input string that you've got to time correctly, that then unleashes a massive cinematic experience, making it an actual brutal, you know, ender. Or make it so that, like in Killer Instinct, where you got to like do certain things like doing a brutality, which would enable, you know, enable like the ultra combo at the end of like an Killer Instinct fight. But in Mortal Kombat, the way that you sort of try and enable a brutality, the way they're currently designed, make that like, oh, you got to press these certain buttons, right before, like try and get the last hit on their health to take them out, and then that goes into a big finisher, and that's called a brutality. Take all the brutalities now, which are good, and make them the fatalities. Give us tons of them. Give us tons of fatalities. This whole, oh, you only get 2 fatalities shit. What's wrong with you? Anyway, that's an aside. Anyway, so I have to do another video talking about what I'd want my Mortal Kombat game to be. So, but anyway, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think. Catch you next time.